talking about HTML forms, so I'm going to open my VS Code. I don't need to explain how to do that anymore. You already know how to do that. So I'm going to be bringing in my folder. That's the what's it called, the my personal website folder. I'm going to be bringing it to the class. So let me look for. Okay, I'm supposed to add some, but somebody's trying to come in. Yeah. So I'm going to be bringing in the folder. So it's on my desktop, and it's called my personal website. So yeah, it's loading. It's trying to open right now. This is the code for the website. I want the website to load. Yeah, so my website is loaded now, and I'm going to go live using the live server that we installed. So you're going to open it on the browser now. Okay, this is the live server. So I'm going to click on it, and it's going to open on the page. So this is the website, but this is not how we want our website to look actually. What we want to do is we want the website to have a contact me page where we are going to have a form here, and then the website will also have this. The way this is arranged, we are going to arrange it now. It's not supposed to be like this. This name and information is supposed to come to this side. Yeah, so we are going to do that today. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to open the complete website so we can see how it's going to look. Yeah, so we can see how it's going to look when we are done. So this is the complete website. This is how it's going to look when we by the time we finish coding what we want to do today. So I'm going to open it right now. I'm going to go live now. I'm waiting for the go live plugin to start working. Just give it a moment. Sometimes it takes time to load. Let's give it a moment to load the go live. You can see it's still loading, it's still coming up. Yeah, so I'm going to click on go live, and we are live. You can see the difference between this and this name and my information is by the side of the picture. You can see the space here is different from the space here. So this is what we are going to do now. Presently our website is not complete, and we don't have a contact me form like a form here. And here, if we go to the contact me page, you can see the form here. This is what we are going to create today. Yeah, so let's start now. So the first thing I'm going to do is let me go back to the home page. So I'm going to change the layout. Currently this is how the layout is on the home page. So this is the home page. The index.html is the home page. The layout is stacked horizontally, and so what we are is this vertical or horizontal? I can't even remember, but then it is stacked this way. So we want it to be by the side. If we want to do that for now, because we are not using CSS, normally we are supposed to use CSS to do this, but because we are not using CSS for now, I'm going to use HTML table to put this picture and this information side by side. If I open my code right now, we are going to see this is the code for the incomplete website, and the part we are trying to work on is the image and the text, the information. Yeah, so this is it. Now I have the image here, I have the information here right now. This image, I want to put it side by side with this information that we have here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use HTML tables. I taught you guys HTML tables in the last class, and I'm going to explain a bit of it today again. So if we want to create a table, I said we are going to use the opening and closing tag table elements, which is table table. Now the reason why I'm just typing like this is because the extension that that we installed in the beginning of the class is going to suggest the elements to me. You understand? So I can actually type it like this. If I don't have that extension, I have to type it like this. But because the extension is there, so I can just say table, and it's going to suggest what I'm trying to type. And if I press enter, it's going to show me. It's going to update it by itself. So it's updating the opening and closing tag. Then inside the table tag, I already told you that when you are creating a table, you have table rows and you have table data. Table rows are rows, the list, the number of rows you have in the table, and then table data are the cells, like the data, the information, the content you have in a table. And we have an example in this skills section. So in the skills section, this is the skills section, we have a table and we have a table row which is called TR. So the TR element, if you hover on the element in your VS Code, you see that it's saying that the TR element represents a row of cells in a table. So inside this table, we have how many rows? 1, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. So we have 4 rows here, and if you look at it, it's here 1, 2, 3, 4. And I explained something that I can actually put a border around them. So if I say border equals to 1, that one is representing 1 pixels. Look at it, you can see it. So now I have a row, another row, another row, another row. So this is how you can give your table rows. So let me show you something so that you can look at it. So this, you should be able to understand it better now. So I have how many rows here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the table data is this first one, number 1, number 2. So I have 2 cells in 1 row. So when you are creating a table, you can have infinite rows in your table. That means you can have unlimited numbers of rows on your table. I can add more rows. The more you add, the more the height of the table becomes. The more you have, the height of the table becomes. Yes. And then the width, the data also, which is this cell. This is the first data and this is the second one. So this data also, you can have as many as you want. So if I increase this data, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. You see that it's going to expand. You can see. So because I have more than 1 in the first row, so this TR represent the first row and the table data represent each column. So you can see these cells as columns. So I have how many columns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. I'm just trying to explain how, so that you guys will still remember how we did the table. Then inside this row, inside the row, the table row, that's where we have our data. So when you are trying to create a column, always make sure that the columns, the columns are inside the opening and closing tag of the table row. Let me try and bring someone in. Yeah, so always make sure that the table data, they are wrapped inside the opening and closing tag of the table row. If you don't do that, you won't be able to create a cell inside the row, so you won't know if it's inside the row or not. Now this is what we want to do. Let me go back to the way it was before now. So let me remove the border. I don't want to put a border in this table. Look at it now. So we want to do it the same way. So if we are using this style, now you can see how we placed this flutter and this star beside each other here. This one is here and this one is beside it. So how do you think we can place this picture and this information side by side? If you are going to do that, what you need to do first of all is to create a table and then create a table row. Now we are going to be having one table row because we are only placing one thing, just 2 elements here inside one row. That's what we are trying to do. So what we need to do is create a table data. The first table data will be our picture because that's the first thing we want to put inside the row. So I'm going to put that picture inside my table data. You understand? And I don't like the way this is organized, so I want to arrange it properly. And I'm going to format the document with Prettier, the normal way we format it. You can see now that I changed the formatting. Now my picture is inside the table row. don't worry, the size has decreased. I'm going to correct it now. So the reason why the size of my picture is decreased is because I'm giving it a width of 20% of that table data. Now I can give it 100% and it's going to come back to normal. You can see, so this 100% is not the size. Now before, the size of the picture is based on the size of the screen, the size of my viewport. I explained that viewport means this the screen, your screen size. That's what viewport means, like your browser size, from this white background from here to here. You understand? So that's what the screen size, that's what viewport means. So before, the picture is based on the size of the viewport, and the size of, if we are saying 100% for the picture, that means we are saying that the picture should take the 100% of the viewport of this of the browser. But now the image is not directly inside the browser anymore. It's now inside table a table row inside the table data. Now this table data is taking just this space, just this part, just this space. You understand? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. The table data is taking just this space. So if we are giving it 20%, that means it's going to be taking 20% of that table data, not the viewport. So now we are giving it 100% so that I can take the full width of the table data. So I'm going to create another table data for this information that we have. So the first information is my name, my occupation, and the description, my description, the one about me. I'm going to copy it from here to the end, and I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to bring it inside the table data. And then I also, you can see this is not arranged, the P is somewhere here, everything is not arranged. So I'm going to right click, format document with Prettier, and you can see it's arranged it by itself, and I'm going to save. Now if I save it, you can see that it's bringing the name by its side. So how is this working? What is happening here is that I created a table and I created one row. So this row is the same thing as this. Imagine I created another row here inside the table, and I bring it down and I say another row and I save. That means I'm going to have two rows. Now this is a table. Let me show you what I mean. Now if I put border equals to 1 pixels, like we did the other time, this one means is the same thing as 1 pixels, and px means pixels. You understand? So that's it. Then this, look at it. Can you see it? You can see a border around it, and it's showing that this is a table, and this is one row of the table, and this is another row. Then this is a column, and this is another column. So we have two rows here now, and we have two columns. Well, because we are only trying to render one thing, one row, something on one row, so that they can stay beside each other, we are going to only render the picture and this. So we need to have only one table row. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. So I'm going to delete the other table row from here, so that we can have only one table row. You can see now we have only one table row here, and that is it. So because we are not going to be having a border here, I'm going to remove that border and let it be like this. Now is it looking like what we have here? It's almost looking like it, but not yet like it, because if you look at this very well, there's no space here between this picture and this information. But if you look at it here, there's a space between this picture here and this information. And if you look at it very well, this picture is not too close to the edge of the browser, but the browser viewport is not too close. And if you look at this one, it's too close, it's close, the space is not much. So is there anyone in the class that can tell me how we can give this space here? We did it here in the class, in the last class. So we are going to put cell spacing inside the, so cell spacing is an attribute. I don't need to go back to that, we talked about that in the last class. So I said that every element in HTML has an attribute. An attribute is like what modifies the element. So an attribute is like something, an human being, let me use an human being as an example, somebody that has a hand, a leg. So these legs, eyes, and our attribute as human being, and it helps us to do something. So it's the same thing this attribute is doing. We have different types of attributes for different types of elements in HTML. So one of them is cell spacing, which modifies this table Now cell spacing will give space between a table data and another table data, and even between the row and other things on the browser. Now if you look at it, it's giving a space now. So I gave a space of 20 pixels. If I give a space of 200 pixels, it's going to increase. You can see the space is now much, but this is too much, so I'm going to just give 20 pixels. Now 20 pixels and this is the same thing. You can see nothing is changing, so you can write it as 20, or you can put the px depending on how you want to write your code. But let me tell you one thing you should note is that writing less code, like writing less code, is better than writing plenty things in your code. So as a programmer, always have it at the back of your mind that when you are writing code, you always want to write small chunks of code than writing plenty things. Now we have achieved that exact thing we want to achieve here, and that is really great. So now this home page is complete, and it's almost the same thing with this. Yes, the only difference is that we are not using that emoji here in the complete page, the normal website, but we are using it here. I actually prefer the emoji here, so it's better like this. Now the next thing we want to talk about is the HTML form.